January the 13th, 2010, just 24 hours after the earthquake. His ambulance disabled, we found Ralph Senecal treating as many victims as he could from the ruins of his collapsed paramedic clinic, losing victims throughout the night.
I have over 12. I have about 6 in the street. Some of them, the family took them to bury them.
A year after the disaster, the ambulance service is back on its feet, but only just. This is where Ralph's ambulance was parked when the building collapsed. Now, on the night we arrived, he was using it to treat the stream of victims arriving here with horrific injuries. A year later, it's hard to believe how little progress has been made. After receiving no NGO assistance or government funds, the damage caused 12 months ago still hasn't been repaired. Ralph has had to convert his own car into an emergency vehicle to pick up patients, purchasing new medical supplies on the street.
I know if that money went in to the Haitian government, nothing will get done. They say that to give it to all the organizations, the international organization. These organizations, they have no structure, no one is supervising them, so they do whatever they want to do.
Many of the millions raised for Haiti's recovery have gone to international NGOs, but the appearance of cholera has raised new questions about their capabilities. At this camp in Port-au-Prince, water is delivered untreated. More than 10 camp residents here have since become sick. Families are given chlorine tablets to purify 2 buckets of water a day, but residents say that's not enough.
They give us 12 tablets and it doesn't last the week. My family consumes 6 buckets of water a day, so it's not enough for us.
The NGO in charge of sanitation has spent less than a third of the $45 million it's raised for Haiti this year, but representatives say they're looking at the long term.
We have not spent all of it. We have enough funds to keep on working for the next few months. We plan to just continue distributing aquatabs and soap and doing hygiene promotion at least until the end of March, and then we'll continue for as long as we can.
But during our visit, the aid workers were confronted by angry residents who said many families were having to drink untreated water. The clearest sign that the system's not working is that cholera continues to claim new victims, and Haitians are still burying their dead in unmarked graves a full year after the earthquake. Sebastian Walker, Al Jazeera, in Port-au-Prince, Haiti.
Queensland's had heavy rain and flooding for weeks, but nothing could prepare this part of Australia for this 2-day deluge. Monday's inland tsunami through Toowoomba and Grantham, just the most fearsome in a series of flash floods that look to be culminating in an imminent all-out assault on the state capital, Brisbane. Search and rescue was the priority on Tuesday, but efforts severely hampered by more incessant torrential rain. For much of the day, helicopters couldn't fly, and swift water rescue boats were kept on standby, conditions too dangerous to allow them out. All the while, the confirmed death toll from yesterday's flash floods rising, children among those dead.
I would like to say to the people of Queensland that I understand the past few days have been very harrowing indeed, and that there are still more dark days ahead.
Roads in every direction quickly became blocked with landslides and floodwaters that yo-yoed up and down, passable 1 minute, dangerously deluged a mere half hour later. Like so many other roads in Queensland right now, this one is blocked by the flood, as you can see right here, but also further up by landslides. This road eventually leads to the Ivanhoe Dam, which normally protects Brisbane from floods. That's certainly the idea of it, but today the reservoir behind that dam so full, authorities saying they're going to have to release water from it, even though they know it will result in major flooding in Queensland's state capital. By Tuesday afternoon, the Brisbane River had already burst its banks at the point that it runs through the heart of Australia's third largest city. But far worse is to come when vast amounts of water are deliberately, necessarily released. Brisbane's mayor saying 6,500 homes could be flooded, 150,000 people across 80 suburbs in what would be by far and away the biggest inundation of these floods so far. The worst was supposed to have been over for Queensland days ago. Instead, people now asking, just how much more terrible can this possibly get?
Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is Friday, January 14th, 2011, and I'm Darko. This is part 3 of this news bulletin. You just saw a couple videos there. One was on Haiti being called the NGO. That's basically what they are. They're just a non-governmental organization. And after watching that video, and then we get to this article, where did all the Haiti relief money go to the NGOs, you realize that it's a corporation. A non-governmental organization is just like a country. It's a corporation. So they're in the business of making money. And that was a really eerie scene to see those bodies getting dropped out of that truck. I mean, man, at first it was like 1,000 people had died from cholera, and I thought that was going to be it. And then the number just spiked in the last month to like 3,200 people now have been killed by cholera, and the Haitian people believe that the UN was responsible for bringing it in. So they want the UN out. And so we're going to get to this. The amount of money raised for the Haiti earthquake relief has reached a staggeringly high $1.4 billion in less than 1 year from the United States alone. Everything from celebrities to regular people held telethons, bake sales, and dinner parties whose proceeds went to help Haiti earthquake victims. A year later, people who opened their purse strings and wallets so generously are asking where the money went and how well it was spent. According to a survey, the Chronicle of Philanthropy, that's eugenics, of 60 major relief organizations, only 38% of that money has been spent to provide recovery and rebuilding aid. By comparison, in New Orleans, about 80% of the money raised for Hurricane Katrina victims has been spent. So you go in there and check that article. The link will be posted in the video's description. Next up is Tunisia. Tunisia leader orders end to firing. Tunisian president orders security forces to stop using firearms against protesters while more people are killed in clashes with police. It says here, appearing on TV, President Zine al-Abidine Ben Ali also promised political reforms and a cut in prices of food. Quote, "I won't accept that another drop of blood of Tunisian be spilled," he said. And it says here, Ali, who has ruled the country since 1987, said he will not seek a new term of office in 2014. His comments came shortly after at least 2 protesters were killed in fresh clashes with police on Thursday. The clashes have erupted in Tunisian capital between police and protesters, this time outside government buildings. The reports say hundreds of protesters defied a nighttime curfew imposed by the government on Wednesday night and took to the streets. Says the government. Ben Ali sacked the interior minister on Wednesday and said he would investigate allegations of police's use of excessive force. Says the opposition says protests are driven by unemployment and high living costs. However, officials claim the unrest is a work of the minority of extremists bent on damaging the country, which sounds like what? Complete bullshit, right? A lot of people right now are suffering, and they are taken to the streets because of rising food prices, and yet we're told that everything's okay. Tunisian leader bows to unrest, sets departure date. So Tunisian President Zine al-Abidine Ben Ali, facing the worst unrest of his rule, said on Thursday he would not run again when his term ends in 2014, prompting scenes of celebration in the streets of the capital. So there you go. Going to keep moving on here. Gabago men torch UN vehicle in the Ivory Coast. Students loyal to incumbent Ivorian President Laurent Gbagbo, man, I'm having a hard time pronouncing that, but have attacked a UN vehicle in the capital, setting on fire and beating the driver. And basically, it says, I was looking at all the pictures, and to me, it seems as though the majority of the people want this individual in there. They're happy that he's there, and they want to keep him there. And it seems to me that when I read about these articles, it says the United Nations, the European Union, the United States, basically all globalist entities or organizations, right, support this Aturaru guy, basically his opposition, right? Who claims that he won. And so the people are basically saying, no, we don't want him, and they don't want the UN in their country. 4 dead as forces raid Ivory Coast neighborhood. See, look at all these people cheering as they're leaving. That's what I was saying. Before this happened, before these raids picked up in the last day or two, before that, the pictures that I was seeing, they were all pictures of this. The UN having to turn around. They would go like this down the street, like they were trying to tell them, we're boss, and we're going to put our puppet in there. And then they would have to turn around because there would be so many people out protesting to tell them to turn the hell around. They would turn around. The whole convoy of UN blue helmets would turn around because the people are taken to the streets. It's kind of a cool picture. But it says machete attacks in central Nigeria leave 19 dead. Men armed with rifles and machetes killed 19 people in attacks on 3 villages in volatile central Nigeria, authorities said. Revealed second undercover police officer who posed as activist. Spy spent 4 years living in Leeds and played a central role in planning a demonstration to shut down the direct power. The controversy over police surveillance network embedded in the environmental protest movement has deepened dramatically after The Guardian identified a second undercover officer who spent years living a double life as an activist. So there you go, guys. Check that link out. That was pretty interesting. Mexico drug wars have killed 35,000 people in 4 years. And if you want to know what my solution is, it is to end the war on drugs and is to legalize drugs. So basically, if you make drugs legal, then you won't have drug cartels and you won't have all the violence with it, right? And you won't have all these people incarcerated for victimless crimes. All right, then here you go. Should Texas cops be giving tickets to 6-year-olds? I covered this before, but it popped up again in the media. This may sound like a ridiculous question, but according to a report on the Yahoo News, Texas cops are indeed giving tickets to 6-year-olds. So what crimes are being committed in kindergarten? Disrupting class, fighting, misbehaving on the school bus. You like that, guys? So as a child, you know, you're going through an unnatural environment, which is known as the education system. That is not a natural learning environment. And it is all about indoctrinating people while they're young to be good consumers and to be good slaves to workers to pay their taxes and then to suck the state's phallus, basically, without getting too graphic here. That's what you learn. And so if you don't like that, then you're going to start getting ticketed. So that's actually teaching them while they're younger, hey, see, if you don't do this, well, when you're older, it's when you turn 18, it's game on, and so we'll just start writing you tickets. So, you know, if you go through a stop sign, now you can. I'm a proponent of a stateless society, so I'm not saying that a stateless society would include no traffic lights or anything. I'm just saying that those are victimless crimes. Those are political laws. So if I want to go 65 miles an hour in my Maserati or 100 miles an hour in my Maserati, I take full responsibility for what I do. If I harm someone, I harm someone, and I have to compensate them, or you know, go to jail or whatever. But it has nothing to do with the state, and so this is what it's teaching them. It says basically it doesn't matter whether it's right or wrong. If the state says it's wrong, you'll be ticketed. So it kind of beats that out of them while they're still kind of skeptical, right? New Jersey town to vote on middle school drug tests. So here we go. 6th, 7th, and 8th graders may be soon treated like high schoolers. So there you go. See? A proposal to conduct random drug tests of young students in one Jersey town is raising some eyebrows. But it doesn't really matter if it raises eyebrows because they'll just go ahead and do it anyways. Because you're slaves. Man fined $5,200 for growing cucumbers in basement. So see, try to grow some cucumbers in your basement, you get arrested. And it says here, we're going to keep moving. Judge says government need not disclose air travel security images. A federal judge in Washington has ruled the Department of Homeland Security can keep from the public view 2,000 whole-body images taken to test the machines used to screen travelers at the airport checkpoints. Royal family granted new rights of secrecy, special exemptions to be written into the Freedom of Information Act. The royal family is to be granted absolute protection from the public scrutiny in a controversial legal reform designed to draw a veil of secrecy over the affairs of the Queen, Prince Charles, and Prince William. So you like that? Double standards out the wazoo. Prez perfect, but the crowd was appalling. And you can read this article because I'm running out of time, but it was just very, very sad. I didn't watch the video of Obama talking at the memorial for the Arizona shooting, but it just seemed like it was, from what I read, it was more of a political rally than an actual mourning. The fast fix, tougher gun control laws ahead. So it said with the attempted assassination of Arizona Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords provided a spark to pass stricter gun laws. You can check that out. Third gun control bill proposed since Tucson. So here they come. Talk radio under siege. Representative Jim Claiborne wants to bring back the fairness doctrine and move aimed directly at talk radio. And this is all due to the Arizona childhood cancer rates on the rise in China. So eugenics is going well over there. Beijing professor battles one-child family planning policy, and it's just a horrible, tragic story. Finally has a second child, and he gets fined up to like $36,000. This is GGN, and I'm Darko. Thank you.